Well, Professor, thank you for introducing me enthusiastically. So, did you have a good lunchtime, everybody? Well, it seems to me that audience here in today is much larger than previous year. It's great. And do you know how many audiences are joining through online? I'm not sure. Well, today my topic is, it sounds like a little bit different to other presenters from yesterday, right? From yesterday, we had all this AI is important, but the human touch is important, and they are sharing their knowledge and experiences applying AI or constructing courses online with AI, things like that. But today, my topic is different. I'm going to guide you through the journey of numbers. Now, what I'm going to share with you today is that, is it true, really, the faculty or students of ASEAN countries need online micro-credential program or online micro-credentials? We've heard a lot from this morning, from professor from Thailand, professor from German, that they are saying that micro-credential is not an enemy to general degree program, but it needs. It has been needed, it has been it has been gaining a focus from global educators and learners and everywhere. So, is it also true to ASEAN? Let's find it. I'm going to go through briefly what the methodology, and then share with you what students are thinking, and then what faculties are thinking about micro-credential programs, especially online. Then, at the end, I'm going to go through what's the differences and what's the similarities between faculty and student findings, and finally, the recommendations and a strategic design for recommendations. So, this survey was conducted by jointly conducted by AUN, ASEAN University Network, with ACU project, where I'm working on, from December 2024 to February 2025. It's been conducted online. And I'm going to share with you that there are around 5,000 students responded, and about 1,000 faculty members are responded. So why do we do this survey? On what purpose? Well, we would like to understand what students and faculty really expect from online micro-credential programs in ASEAN, and what challenges they are facing, and finally, what ACU project can do for satisfying faculty and student needs of ASEAN. Let's dive into what we found from student answers, student responses. Overall, the subject that they would like to demand, they are demanding on developing as online micro-credential programs. The top is ICT-related fields. Well, this answer is kind of making us conform, or making us confirm that what we were expected and what kind of a hypothesis that we had before, that, well, students in ASEAN, their top priority for the subject demand is ICT related. But one other thing is that language and literature, Korean culture, and social sciences are following. That's kind of a difference because we are thinking that the knowledge and experience of social science can be obtained by a short program. Well, one thing is that inside the social science, we all expect that there are like statistics, methodology for research, things like basic for research or analysis. It seems to me that students in ASEAN, they need those kind of basic knowledge for analysis and research. But the thing is that let us break down the answer by country because we have 10 countries in ASEAN, right? So we are having an answer from the overall analysis, and then we are having country-specific responses. For example, let's see the Indonesia. Well, they need digital skills, but the top is the humanities. For Myanmar, the top is ICT-related fields. It's like really, really top in ICT-related fields demand in Myanmar. But Laos PDR, Laos, they are looking for languages and literature instead. It also same at the Malaysia. And Vietnam, they are looking for social sciences on their online micro-credential programs. So, what does it say? That means these regional variations reinforce the need for a localized approach to develop online micro-credential programs. That means that a one-size-fits-all resolution or solution will not be effective. Instead, we must offer tailored programs that cater to the unique brand of each ASEAN member states. So, for ASEAN students, what are their career aspirations overall? Well, not surprisingly, business entrepreneurship, data scientist, software engineer, teacher and educators, or healthcare professionals. Besides teacher educators, business entrepreneurship and data scientist and software engineer, it seems to me that overall student responses for their subject demand the top has been the ICT related field, right? So what they are aspiring for their skills, for their future career, the data shows that data scientist and software engineer, just like what they answered for their preferred subjects. Well, this confirms with the highlighting of a teacher, educator, and healthcare professionals and auditor, things like that. This also confirms that the importance of building tech-oriented as well as interdisciplinary career tracks as well. So shall we also break down the result by the country? This slide, the data tells that what students are aspiring to be by country. We found a strong trend, of course, toward tech-related careers and entrepreneurship, especially in Vietnam and Myanmar. However, it's also important to note that traditional roles in public and education sectors remain popular in countries like Brunei, Can you see the highlight? Okay. Brunei, Singapore, and Malaysia. This means that our online micro-credential programs must be flexible enough to support both digital skills, an entrepreneur mindset, and the skills needed for public service roles. Yes, it's getting difficult to develop online micro-credential programs. According to faculty and students' answer. So, here, we ask the students what skills they believe are essential for their future career path. The responses here reveals a perfect blend of soft skills and technical skills, with communication skills, let's see, more than 20%, and critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork. But the thing is that digital literacy, data analysis are following. So this indicates a holistic understanding of what it takes to succeed in the modern job market. Our challenge as an ACU project is to design online micro-credential programs that seamlessly integrate both sets of skills. Now, we come to a really critical finding: the gap between awareness and participation. The data reveals a significant disparity. For example, while many students have heard of online micro-credential program, but the number who have actually participated is quite low. This is a significant finding, as it suggests that the core challenge isn't a lack of interest, but rather an issue of access, information, and overcoming a perceived barriers. We need to do a better job of converting awareness into enrollment. So where are students hearing? Where do students hear about online micro-credential programs? The data shows that universities are the primary source. That gives us a great opportunity to influence the narrative. However, social media, such as TikTok or Facebook, things like that, those social media is also a major source, especially for younger students. This tells us that our communication strategies need to be a twofold. The first one, we must empower our universities or our institutions to be a strong advocate, to be advocates for online micro-credential programs. And also, we should leverage digital platforms such as those social media to reach students directly for these online micro-credential programs. Next slide. It's kind of a really unique perspective for ASEAN. Actually, I haven't thought about this way before, but whenever we do an online survey or whenever we do the survey with AUN always asks, what's the strong point for each country? So we all know that overall, all ASEAN students are favoring certain subjects. And those subjects also has a disparities when we break down by the countries. But here, what we ask is that if students are thinking that what country is stronger than the other one in terms of certain subjects. So the answer is like this. Students think that Singapore is on top on digital skills and programming languages and AI. So when we create or when we develop online micro-credential programs, then we better ask universities in Singapore or Singapore experts to develop a program in the field of digital skills or programming languages or AI, so that the student of ASEAN can listen or can access to those programs for their knowledge and experience. So now, when we compare the subject interest of students who have already taken online micro-credential programs with those who haven't, we actually see a consistent demand for languages and social sciences. That means that this confirms that the content itself is highly relevant to students. The next slide, in terms of how students want to learn. The preference, according to the data, is clear. Asynchronous learning is a king, right? Students are overwhelmingly preferring flexibility. They favor self-paced learning with 45% here, and engaging and interactive modules. They are less interested in live online classes, which are often synchronous, but which can be difficult for them to fit into their busy schedule, right? This is a clear signal for our course designers. We must prioritize asynchronous but engaging and modular content to maximize student engagement and completion rate. So our ACU platform and joint programs should be built with this flexibility in mind. Then, how long should these courses be? It's an online micro-credential, not a general degree program. So the answer from our student is clear and simple and clear. It's short and focused. The majority of students, of 45%, they prefer courses that can be completed in less than 3 months. This perfectly aligns with the concept of a micro-credential program, which considered to be a tool for rapid skill acquisition rather than a full academic courses. And this slide, one of the most concerning findings, especially, at least for me personally, because I am in charge of ACU project. And this slide shows you, the data tells that the awareness and the participation are a different story for the ACU platform. Despite a more than decade of collaboration with ASEAN, more than 60% of student respondents said that they are not aware of ACU platform. So now here, have you heard of ACU platform or ASEAN Cyber University Network? Can you raise your hand? Okay, it's disheartening. It's concerning. As a person directly in charge of a project, I found this really, really concerning. So ACU project has, with this, we now face a clear visibility gap that could undermine our collective impact. So even though this report does not really analyze why you're not aware of, but I believe it's time for us to think of how can we promote our project effectively across campuses, institutions, and student communities of ASEAN. Okay, student gave us a huge homework for us to think of. So now, the affordability issue. Yes, the single most important barrier that the student cannot afford to access to online micro-credential program is that the cost. Because they are thinking of that, they are willing to pay for a course if the course price is under $100. That means that for having more engagement from the student, we must find like some innovative ways to make our programs affordable. This maybe involve exploring scholarships or institutional subsidies or different freemium modules, models, or things like that. So final reflections based on student findings. Let's see. Overall, across all ASEAN countries, we see a strong and rising demand for digital learning opportunities, especially when they are accessible, career relevant, and flexible in format and duration. While students in ASEAN, they are not just looking for certificates. What they really look for is that they are seeking pathways to employment, to entrepreneurship, and to global competencies. And also, the survey reveals that students across ASEAN are highly motivated, but still face real barriers such as cost. And they are willing to explore new learning models like online micro-credential programs, but they need better guidance. And they also see digital skills as a critical, regardless of major or intended career. So, for the ACU project, what we need to do? As we reviewed this result at the ACU Secretariat, we realized that micro-credential programs or micro-credentials are not simply an academic trend. They are like becoming a policy lever and a way to expand inclusion, bridge skill gaps, and increase internationalization of higher education. So, have those in mind, let's move our attention to what faculties are responding. Well, educators, the faculties, they are not just the content creators. They are also a key enablers, key stakeholders of micro-credential success. Their readiness, motivation, and support must go hand in hand with student demand, of course. And we have around like 1,000 respondents from ASEAN, and mostly the number of participants comes from the Philippines and Vietnam. It's because of their large population compared to other countries in ASEAN. But the thing is that we need a balanced analysis, so we applied the method for the statistically for balancing these respondents. I'm not going over any ethnographical information about the faculty respondents. You can look at my slide later. But I would like to point one that is when it comes to academic rank, lecturers and assistant professors, they are the made up of a majority. This suggests that the micro-credentials may resonate most strongly with those who are still building their academic teaching portfolios or seeking regional impact. So what motivates faculty to engage in online micro-credential? Oops. Yeah, what motivates? Well, the top reason by far, as you can see on the data, that professional development with the 45%. This shows that faculty see value in upskilling themselves, not just in teaching and guiding students. Well, a little different. And about 30% were motivated by expanding their academic reach, and 25% saw it as a means of enhancing instructional collaboration. So in terms of existing collaboration, well, about 48% had worked with ASEAN countries, while 30% with Korean universities. Well, however, these partnerships were largely focused on joint research by far, and then with the fewer instances of faculty exchange or joint curriculum development. The thing is that joint curriculum development, that's the one point for us as an ACU project. With the ASEAN universities, we would like to work on for developing online micro-credential programs. So, well, actually, this data suggests that while research collaboration is much more maturing, there's still work to be done in expanding teaching-based partnership, especially for joint online course development. Well, encouragingly, 68% of faculty said that they are interested in developing online micro-credential courses with ACU project. Well, this is an excellent, but to transform this intent to action, to actually develop, to actually collaborate, to develop online micro-credential programs, we must address perceived barriers such as workload, policy gaps, and lack of incentives. Let's see what faculty prefer, what subjects that faculty preferred for development. Of course, it depends because faculties used to have their specific major, right? So it depends on what their field, what the respondents' field were. But the data tells that the interesting pattern. Faculty are most interested in developing programs in social sciences, humanities and education, of course with ICT also being on top, as students preferred. This largely aligns with student demand, but with some notable differences. An interesting divergence also emerged here. Well, actually, students showed greater interest in languages and social science, but the faculty did not. So this gap implies also need for cross-stakeholder curriculum co-design. Well, difficult. It is difficult to bridge the gap of student preferences and faculty preferences, But that's a point of success for our online micro-credential programs, as the data tells us. So let's break down faculty preferences also. But let's break down faculty preferences by country, and this data also says that their answer varies across countries. In Philippines and Vietnam, languages and social science were strong, but in Cambodia, well, most of the subjects are having broad, reflecting interest in foundational fields. So as such, regional diversity is a strength again. And ACU should embrace this by facilitating localized, yet credit transferable online micro-credential program. So, what do faculty members need to get started? Their top concerns are a lack of financial support. Well, it sounds a bit similar to students. And it's followed by a lack of technical infrastructure and pedagogical training. Many also mentioned that these projects would increase their workload without clear incentives. This is a strong message for us and to institutions. We must provide the resources and support necessary to empower our educators. So encouragingly, the slide here highlights another critical gap, the gap between the desire to collaborate and experience of collaboration. Well, their willingness to collaborate is more than 78%, but their experience tells that only less than 20% has an experience of collaborating. So, what we need to do here, we must build bridges that make it easier for our educators to connect and to work together across borders. Oops, sorry. There is another thing that is really critical for us to understand the faculty's willingness. The good news is that they are mostly willing to share their content with ASEAN collaborators or Korean learners and faculty members. Here, they say more than 80% saying that they have a strong inclination toward open educational exchange. That's a really good news. They are ready to collaborate. They are ready to share their knowledge and content for collaborating, for developing online micro-credential programs. So I'm getting close to the end. So to summarize faculty findings, we see a clear commitment to professional development and a strong willingness to collaborate. However, this is being held back by a lack of institutional support, funding, and clear policies. So our path forward must involve creating an environment that empowers and rewards faculty for their innovation and collaboration. Now let's bring both sides, faculty and student, their similarities and discrepancies. What are the key takeaways from our comprehensive analysis so far? Both students and faculty value online micro-credential programs and prefer flexible online formats. However, their priorities and barriers are different. Students are driven by career needs and highly sensitive to cost, while faculties are motivated by professional growth, and are limited by institutional and financial barriers. So understanding these differences is the key, we think, to create effective solutions. So based on all these, we've developed a strategic framework with 5 key recommendations. Let me just repeat or read for you. The first one, improve visibility and communication. Integrating online micro-credential programs into degree programs and student advising, or clarify recognition and benefits to both groups. The second, let's address affordability and faculty incentives. The third one, let's align curriculum toward your priorities. Design interdisciplinary online micro-credential programs and bundle faculty-led themes, for example, pedagogy with student-demanded topics such as digital skills. Fourth, let's ensure industry recognition. The credentials should work as the employer looking for employees on their job market, right? And finally, let's strengthen regional collaboration. Let's identify which countries are strong in which subject and what a student of certain countries are looking for a certain subject, and I make them into our online micro-credential program development so that students are more engaged in the programs for their knowledge and experience. So in closing, ACU project has learned a great deal from this our survey. Our findings so far confirms that online micro-credential and micro-credential programs are a vital tool for the future of ASEAN workforce. So to succeed, we need a coordinated, inclusive, and responsive ecosystem where students and faculty are supported fully, and where collaboration is not just an idea, but a reality for ASEAN, across ASEAN. Well, this is the end of our findings, and I'm really happy to answer if you have any questions. You can just post it into that Padlet so that I can answer anytime. And just thank you for your time being here and with me to see some important numbers from ASEAN. Thank you.